What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next movie review, I'm going to review a movie I watched about a week ago, couple weeks ago, something like that. One of the latest Adam Sandler movies, Blended. When I first decided to watch the movie, and before I watched it, I was kind of a little... Most of you guys know that, and I've said it a lot of times on this channel, I am a big fan of Adam Sandler. I love most of his movies, I really do. That being said, I wasn't extremely sure of what to think of this movie. I mean, I had a little bit of doubt in my mind. You know, not as much doubt as maybe some other people had towards it, but it kind of, it kind of was like, it was a little bit of a concern for me. Because, yes, the movie did get bad reviews. It got a 14% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but I expect that. I expect that out of any Adam Sandler comedy. Because critics hate Adam Sandler and his comedies. They hate Adam Sandler's comedies, I should say. Not him in particular, just his comedies. And it's a shame, but critics do think that way. So I'm not surprised by the low negative critical reaction. What I was kind of surprised about was that the movie didn't really make a ton of money. It had a budget of $40 million, and it made $126.8 million. That may seem like a lot, but compared to other Adam Sandler movies, that's chump change. He made chump change as opposed to other movies that he... for example, I'm going to give you a couple of movies in particular, a couple of his popular movies. For example, Billy Madison. Actually, Billy Madison's not the best example. So let me see here. Happy Gilmore, I'll just say. It was a different financial time back in 1996. The movie was pretty successful. On an $18 million budget, it earned over $41 million at the box office. Just to The Wedding Singer, the first movie with Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. Blended, by the way, stars Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. And it's their third collaboration together. The first one was Wedding Singer, second one was 50 First Dates, and then this third one was Blended. For example, for The Wedding Singer, $18 million budget, made over $123 million at the box office. A big success. Let's look at Mr. Deeds, for example. On a $50 million budget, it made over $171 million worldwide. So, I mean, it definitely, not maybe one of his big critical hits, but 50 First Dates, for example, on a $75 million budget, over $196 million at the box office. I will even go with probably one of Adam Sandler's worst movies, Jack and Jill, which, from what I remember of it, I didn't mind it. Jack and Jill, on a $79 million budget, made over $149 million. So it was very successful despite getting bad critical reviews. Both Grown Ups movies. The first Grown Ups made over $271 million at the box office on an $80 million budget. Grown Ups 2, which came out a couple of years ago. Grown Ups 2 made $247 million on an $80 million budget. So these are just some highlights, some examples of how big Adam Sandler, of how much money Adam Sandler has made at the box office. Blended didn't do as well as any of the other movies that, came before it. So I was a bit hesitant, a little bit wary of it. Now, like I said before, Blended is a movie starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. And like I said, it is their third collaboration together. I've watched parts of The Wedding Singer, and I did watch all of 50 First Dates. I think that's a pretty decent Adam Sandler movie, 50 First Dates. So anyway, Blended also has co-stars Terry Crews, Shaquille O'Neal in a small role, and a few other people as well. But anyway, so Sandler and Barrymore's characters go on a blind date that goes over disastrously. This date is terrible. They both don't see each other again for a little while. They kind of keep running into each other, and the thought of that date is in their mind still. How that date was so horrible. Anyway, one of Barrymore's friends in the movie separates from the husband, separates from her fiance, and so Barrymore gets tickets to Africa along with her two children, her two boys. Adam Sandler gets tickets to Africa with his three kids. They meet up in Africa together unexpectedly. And what follows is a wild adventure, for sure. It definitely was a wild adventure that these two had. That the families had, and all that kind of stuff. Saying this, I really enjoyed this movie. I really, surprisingly, I liked this movie a lot. I really did. I mean, their time in Africa is so funny. Sandler was really funny. Drew Barrymore, I mean, they have amazing chemistry to begin with anyway. So they're a proven commodity, Sandler and Barrymore, in romantic comedies. They're funny again in this movie. And this movie also has a little bit of heart, too. This kind of, I think this really is a good example of what Sandler was like back in the day. He provided the comedy, but he did also provide some of the sentimental aspects of the movie, which I think is very important. When you're doing a romantic comedy, you want to have the comedy in there. There's no doubt about that. But you also want to have the romance, the kind of sentimental aspects, the touching moments. And I think Blended blends, see what I did there? Blends these two together very well. Blends in the romance and the touching moments with the comedy. And adventure, because this is an adventure comedy film too. Romantic comedy film. And I think it blends itself very well. Like I say, Barrymore and Sandler were very good in this movie. There's no doubt about it. There were some other people that were pretty funny. This actress named Wendy McLendon Covey, who plays Barrymore's friend who has to give up the Africa tickets, she was fairly funny in this movie. Kevin Nealon, who's in a lot of Adam Sandler films, he was pretty funny in the movie. I have to say I kind of liked him. A couple of weaknesses in some aspects. Terry Crews, who had a supporting role in this movie. Terry Crews has been in a few Adam Sandler films. Terry Crews, I say this affectionately in some ways, he looked like he was on cocaine the entire movie. He looked like every scene they were doing, he sniffed some cocaine beforehand, and he did the movie. And he did his lines. He looked like he was on cocaine. It was okay. He just wasn't that funny to me. Terry Crews wasn't. You know, it just wasn't that funny to me. Shaquille O'Neal, who should never have a lead role in Hollywood again, by the way. I mean, just look at his movie Kazam. It really did poorly. Quite poorly. He probably will never get a lead role in Hollywood again. So he can survive through Adam Sandler films because Adam Sandler puts all his friends in films. And Shaquille O'Neal, he had a small role in the movie, and he surprisingly did okay in the small bit of time he was given, which I think is enough for him, definitely. It's good to have actors in movies in small doses sometimes, and I think Shaquille O'Neal did an adequate job with that small dosage of time. So, I would definitely have to give this, I'm going to say a 4 out of 5 stars. Also, there's another character that I kind of should, mention. A character who is like a guide, a tour guide of some sort, who is a kind of a tour guide of some sort in Africa for the families. He was pretty funny, too. He was relatively funny. I mean, he was okay. So yes, I would have to give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did think this movie was funny. I think it blended the comedy and the romance and the adventure very well for an Adam Sandler movie. I think it's one of his best, honestly. This is like the 4th Adam Sandler movie I've reviewed on here. My favorite Sandler movie will always be the Zohan movie. I really love that movie a lot. You can check out my review on that to see how I love that movie a lot. But yeah, I have to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a good movie, a good Adam Sandler movie, and I'm very glad I watched it. And that's it for my video on Blended. D-Rock 1992 out.